All right, Lights Camera Barstool movie review time. Talking Godzilla Minus One. Brand new Godzilla movie from Toho. They've released what is like their 50th fucking Godzilla movie. Unbelievable.
Might be an
Another
understatement.
good one though. Honestly, good is disgusting. I shouldn't even use that word. It's great.
Excellent.
I think we all are about to agree on that. Godzilla Minus One. Lot of pop right now in the United States. Huge Rotten Tomatoes, over 95%, both critics and audiences. People are talking about it outside of the space that you'd expect. It's breaching just like the space of Godzilla fans. Like many people are taking note as to what this is and the type of movie we're getting here. I would say the best Godzilla for me is Shin Godzilla from 2018. I gave that an 84 out of 100. I loved that movie. This is like a different planet. Japan is already devastated by the war, World War II, when a new crisis emerges in the form of a giant monster, Godzilla. The director of the movie, by the way, has gone on to say he wants to do a Star Wars movie, which is kind of funny. Directed by Takashi Yamazaki, I believe how you say it. He also did. What did he do before this that I think I have seen? He did something. I forget what it is. That's going to drive me fucking crazy now. But he's been in the news big time. He said, like, I'd like to do a Star Wars movie because this movie is popping beyond just, like I said, the expected realm of Godzilla fans. Everyone who's seeing this is loving it. I love that. I think it's the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. It's fucking incredible. The fact that they're also releasing the American Godzilla trailers for the new movie while this is like hitting in theaters is kind of funny. Talk about interesting timing. I gave it a 93 out of 100. I think it's fucking amazing. One of the best movies of the year. So good. And it achieves what so many Godzilla or monster movies try and do. Mix in the humanization of characters, but also with the chaos of the monster. It balances it better than any. There's other great Godzilla movies that have done this, but to this level, this is like a whole other planet. A lot of great Godzilla movies. I'm not saying this is like the first good one. Again, they're like Toho, just shit. Most of them are just these Toho movies. But with Godzilla Minus One, you care about the characters, the story, the people, but not at the expense of any action, any destruction, all of that. Awesome movie. Just a fucking absolutely seeing it again, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing it again this week. This is a see it again in theaters. It is awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think this is the best Godzilla movie ever made for my money's worth. I would agree with you. Shin Godzilla is right up there. I think they're, again, different planet. I would say totally different tiers. This is in like that elite tier of movies, not just for this year, but for like monster movies in general. I think that in the thing that it really makes it separate from the pack is that human story, the anti-war survivor's guilt sort of storyline that they go for, which would be an incredible story on its own without Godzilla. You could completely delete Godzilla from this movie and it would still be an amazing movie on its own with some tweaks, and that's it. And I think that is there's something very important to be said about that, which again, we talked about this earlier in the news segment. It's so many movies, especially in the legacy Godzilla verse and all that bullshit, they try and they just fail miserably. This movie took a lot of care in crafting that human story, and it paid off in a massive, massive way. And it made you care and empathize about these human characters when you really shouldn't. You should only care about coming to see Godzilla blow shit up. And you cared about more than that. And when Godzilla did blow shit up, it was awesome. And it was legitimately scary. This Godzilla was actually, it was like terrifying, like more so than any Godzilla I think I've seen ever on screen. Because like his level of destruction, the way that they showed it was so like I don't know how to explain it. Like you really feel like it is something that is like a feeling of dread. And I completely appreciate that. And I think a big part of that feeling of dread comes from the fact that you actually empathize with these human characters and you view them as actual humans instead of just being like this sort of like worthless delivery device to see Godzilla blow shit up. And I think it was excellent. I gave it a 95 out of 100. I think it's one of the top 5 movies of the year for me so far, which is not something I would ever expect because I'm not a Godzilla guy. I'm just not a person who I'm like, oh, fucking gotta be there opening night, go see Godzilla. Holy shit, God, love God. Like, I'm not that guy. Same with Kong, same with monsters. I'm never a big monster movie guy. Like I'll enjoy a good kaiju fight. I think anybody with an eye for action does, but this is a whole different level in every conceivable way. And I think you just have to realize that after watching this movie. Absolutely excellent. Again, 95 out of 100.
Yeah, just unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
it's almost bad, Gooch. You have your score now. It's like almost bad that they were able to pull this off because like now people are going to really try to do it. And I don't know if you. It's not an easy task because many have tried and most have failed.
Yeah, no, I'm at a 90 out of 100, lowest of you three, but we're all three firmly in the 90s, which I think is a first for any movie this year. Maybe Oppenheimer would have been the other one. I can't remember,
Did we
but
give Oppenheimer below a 90?
I don't think so. I think I was right at 90 on that one too. But yeah, no, this is incredible. To me, this is like, for me, this is like Japan's Top Gun Maverick, and so stay with me there. It's a franchise that is incredibly culturally relevant to Japan and has a lot of sentimental value. And it's almost like you're not expecting the sequel to take things to a different level or completely reinvent things. And it doesn't reinvent things, but it takes things back to the roots, and it just feels so right. It almost feels out of time. You know what I mean? This doesn't feel like a movie that belongs in 2023. It feels like a movie that belongs in the 1960s, 1970s. It's very sentimental, but it works. It works so well. The score, oh my God, if that doesn't get a fucking Oscar nom, I'm going to lose my shit. That was unbelievable. And the performances across the board, perfect. They all knew exactly the movie that they were in. Nobody tried to overplay or over dramatize anything. It was almost a very schlocky performances, but they work so well in conjunction with the rest of the movie. It, like Jeff said, I'm going to go back and see this movie if I can, because it was fucking awesome on the big screen. Holy shit. Like multiple chill inducing moments, like goosebumps. Loved it.
Yep.
I just don't know like how this, it's kind of crazy. Like I don't know how this worked and like others haven't. Like it's kind of like when you look at it on the surface, you're like, how did they manage to juggle it the right way? Like it's not overly long. It's 2 hours. Like it's not like they need to do a 3-hour long movie. It's just done with such care. Like every little bit of it is infused with a moment that kind of lends to both. And because it also, mostly because it's kind of simple too, right? It's just kind of the horrors of war. And also like the randomness too of like the victims and the survivors. And there's kind of like a simple element to it. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe they've tried too hard to pack it all in. Where like simplifying it is kind of the answer. Because that's kind of what they do here. It's not overly complex at all. Like it's pretty straightforward. It also isn't trying to build a universe either, which helps a lot. Like it's not, I mean, yeah, it shows at the end, but that's not the focus of the movie. No. At the end, spoilers, they show like his, a part of Godzilla itself rejuvenating or kind of coming back to life. But like it doesn't focus throughout the movie. I'm like trying to bring in King Kong, or here's 5 minutes with Monarch talking about other aliens and other fucking monsters and shit. Like it doesn't focus on that, which that allows to be pretty lean, pretty straight to the point, and not distract you from kind of the main goal. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the simplifying. It's like it kind of benefits from that. A little tease at the end. You're right, Gooch, but like nothing
small. Yeah,
and that little zombie
out, you didn't think anything of it. I honestly forgot. Forgot that was even like part of it. Like it didn't even dawn on me.
That zombie blood thing too. I'm kind of curious about as well, or whatever the fuck that was.
I think that kept her alive. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I want to see what that was. But yeah, so I think there's a whole bunch of stuff to be like very proud of for this movie. Again, people will talk a lot about the budget. I will say, like, the more I was looking into that, there is a lot more to the budget numbers than people kind of put into it. Like they're just like, oh, $15 million movie that looks like this, and it's like the labor laws are different, the unions are different. Apparently, people they get paid dog shit for animators there, like absolutely nothing. So part of it is that, and it's also a very expensive movie for Japan. I think like their highest cost movie is like $45 million or something like that.
It looks it too, which is great. It pays off. Like it looks great.
There's the worst thing you could say about the CGI is like at points it looks a little blocky in the daytime, and like that's it. But other than that, like for the scale of destruction that you see, I think number one, atomic breath is something that I don't know how they've been able to continue to make this look cooler. But like Shin Godzilla's atomic breath, I thought was like the coolest thing I'd seen from the MonsterVerse. This atomic breath was even fucking cooler. Like it loading and like his spikes popping up, and then the shot and instant nuclear explosion is like just amazing. I was awesome shit. And just the way that they have Godzilla just like, and this is something I talked to Hubs about actually earlier today, because Hubs is a big Godzilla guy. The way that they really, like, we are, I think, almost not sick of, but kind of bored of Godzilla's, they're good guys. Godzilla's like, we're friends with Godzilla. Like, fuck no, Godzilla's a bad guy. He's a big ass lizard.
Yeah, he's a bad dude.
Blowing shit up, and you want Godzilla dead. I tell you what, I've never wanted a monster more dead in my entire life than watching this Godzilla movie towards the end of it, especially because the way they tee it all up. And I think that it was very cool the way that they went about the plan to kill Godzilla. Because like in the whole sinking him to the bottom and racing him back up, all that shit, like that is very, very, very interesting. Not something I think. I mean, I can't claim to have watched every single Toho of like the 60s, 70s, or 50s, 60s, all that movies, but it's the first time I know that they've tried to do that. But all of that stuff looked cool. It looked great. The destruction scenes were like unbelievable. And I think that the acting, like you were saying before, Gooch, is just across the board. It's tough to be I can't find a spot where I'm like, this person did this thing wrong. I think they all did their roles more or less perfectly.
Oh, there's a couple guys in here who were just fucking fantastic in smaller roles. I can't find all their names because they don't have like images linked on IMDb. Just one of those things where foreign actors. But one I did find, the older guy who's like kind of the comedic relief, fucking awesome. His name was Kurinosuke Sasaki. He was killing me. Yeah, he was awesome throughout the movie. And also the scientist. I couldn't find his name.
Yeah,
the scientist was so perfect. Yeah, it was so perfect. God,
dude, the old guy, the scene where they're laying all the mines, and he's like, "No, we're staying here to kill him," and then they just see Godzilla come up and just crush that battleship and just demolish it. He's like, "We're going home." Like, very so funny.
Oh my god.
I don't really have any like cons to say about this movie, really. Like, I think it's like just go fucking see it. It's a must see. It's a big must see label.
Yeah, that's one where I think that like the subtitle thing, people are still drawn away, and it is what it is. Like, if people just they can't consume media that way, I won't fault them for that. I would say though, I usually keep that into account when I'm recommending movies, and like this is a movie where like it's similar to like Parasite, where I'm like, this does not matter. You need to go see it. It is that good, and it is absolutely worth the watch, and it is worth watching in the biggest screen that you could find.
Yeah, if you don't see it in theaters, you'll catch it on streaming like 3 years from now, and you're going to be like, why the fuck did I not see this in theaters? Right. It'll be one of those.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely see this in theaters if you can. Like, it's a no fucking brainer.
Yeah.
Like, there's really like you again. Yeah, Gooch said you will regret not seeing it.
Yeah, you will absolutely.
It almost feels like a Spielberg movie. Like the way it plays out and the way it looks on screen, like it's just like you go see Spielberg movies on screen. It feels very Spielberg.
Yeah, big ass action on screen. Scale of it was great. Like the big wide shots of everything were amazing. The scenes out in the bay, the scenes of actual like Tokyo and all that. A lot of good like little foreshadowing moments, which are nice. And like, man, I just love it. And I love the fighter that they used, and I thought was sick. That like expert prototype.
Oh, that was very sick.
That was cool as hell. The rear engine push motor or whatever. The thing was sick.
That was probably the loudest pop I've heard in a theater since Spider-Man No Way Home, was when it panned and spoilers, it shows that he ejected a seat. Like that got a massive pop in my theater.
Yeah. And that was another, I think there was a lot of amazing like relationship points throughout the movie. Like a lot of people back and forth. I think his relationship with that mechanic, our main guy's relationship with that mechanic was amazing. And I think their back and forth was incredible. And like the sort of growth, right, between the characters because this movie, again, 2 hours takes place over the course of 4 years and really flies by. You don't really feel the length at all. And it is like segmented out into like that year by year by year. And I think that the growth of all the characters throughout it is pretty awesome.
Dude, I was fucking interested in their relationship. We talk so much about how we hate romance just being romance being like just slid into these big action movies. This one works. It works so well.
And is massively important. Like it was to the point where when she gets like, again, spoiler alert, when she gets like blown up, I was like, no. Like, I'm like, fuck, no, not her. Not, it was not Akiko's mom. No. And like, and that whole sequence where like Akiko can't find their mom. I'm like, no, fuck. Just, it's just great growth. You need it. And this is a human story where that's necessary. Unlike some other movies where it's all based on action and you don't need that.
God, I hope they follow this one up. I know we're like out on universes somewhat. I'd like to see him go again.
But that's a sequel's one thing, but it's like it's the wasted time to build a universe to distract from a story. And I'm not saying all of the American ones in this MonsterVerse have done that, but a lot of the time in the movies have spent that. Like they've spent time in those movies doing that. And I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but I'm sure you could take it as a thing that's kind of distracted from the larger picture here, which is the main story, the characters in Godzilla, which they nailed here.
So I was talking to, again, Hubs earlier today about this, and I was proposing for a sequel. What about a prequel Godzilla movie where, like, they all talked about this Odo Island thing? If it was Godzilla at the same size he was in the beginning of the movie, not big, because big-ass Godzilla versus, like, Samurai, there's no, you're dead. But, like, if it was, like, the manageable Godzilla, like I don't know how tall, he was probably, like, 30 feet tall or whatever. Like, that Godzilla versus, like, a samurai clan on Odo Island, like, Edo period, like, they
kinda
still
like
have
Prey?
Explosives. What's that?
Kind of like Prey.
Yeah, kind of like Prey.
prequel?
Yeah, but they're all this whole clan's trying to bring down this like 30-foot tall giant like dinosaur thing. Like I would tune into that in a second, man. And like that's how the legend from Odo of Godzilla starts, because they talk about that a lot in the beginning of Godzilla -1. So I think that'd be kind of sick.
That would be. That's a great idea. Which, ironically, now that I'm remembering it, that I think they are doing that with Predator next. I think they're doing another prequel, but it's going to be. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Japan.
They always have Godzilla fight. Like he fights a samurai in Predators, right? Like or like a Yakuza enforcer that uses a samurai blade for whatever reason.
Everyone's just trying to be Turtles in Time, the third Ninja Turtles movie where they were samurai. That's all everyone wants to do. Go run and get a ticket for Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
It's a must.
It's amazing. Worth your time. Worth paying attention to.
You can bring and like we said, the human stuff works really well here. So like if you're like, I don't know if I want to bring my girlfriend to this or something, bring her. I bet she'll have fun.
Yeah.
She'll probably enjoy it too.
Crying, dude.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. That is it for a review of Godzilla -1, a must-see, one of our highest rated of the year, all of us above 90s. Make sure to go see it on the biggest screen you can. Go see it again, too, after that if you like it, which I imagine most people listening will like it. That's it for a review of Godzilla -1. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the video. For Ken, Jack, and Gooch, I'm Jeff D. Lowe. We'll talk to you next time.